Good afternoon and welcome to the Rise Gala. Good evening and good morning to those of you joining us from all around the world. We're so excited to have you here, and just to get this kicked off, it feels like it's been so long since we began planning. So my name is Peter Nassif, and I'm one of the many students in Loyola's All Things Ignatian class. Led by our fearless leader, Dr. Michael Murphy. It feels like so long ago that Dr. Murphy gave our class a mission. Let's find a way to help Rise, a young organization that is helping to educate young refugees across the world. The founder, Anne Strandoo, spoke with us about the organization that she was at the helm of, and I, like so many other students, met her energy with some of my own. So many things could have been different this semester if it wasn't for the pandemic. The thing is, just because in-person volunteering and service has stopped, doesn't mean our brothers and sisters around the world have stopped needing aid. I think I speak for the entire class when I say we were challenged, engaged, and encouraged by the opportunities that this virtual gala gave us. We were not bound by geography, but only by the limitations of our imagination. On a personal note, I connected to the mission of Rise from something I heard from Pope Francis a few years ago. I remember standing outside of the Colosseum as I heard the Pope reflect on the Stations of the Cross during Holy Week. He took the reflection time to speak on the care for refugees throughout the world. He connected their pain, those that perish trying to escape horrific situations in their home nations, as similar to that of Jesus on the cross. To educate refugee children is to expand exponentially their future potential. But above all else, it shows them that the world is a better place than what they may have experienced, and that there are people out there thinking of them. To put it simply, refugees in schools everywhere gives hope to those that have struggled to find it. From my class, Dr. Murphy, and all those involved with this virtual gala, I thank you for joining us and for your generous donations towards educating refugees. Today, you will have the opportunity to hear from many people, including a few special guests. At this time, I would like to hand it over to my classmate, Eric, who had the opportunity to speak to some of the students that RISE is able to support with contributions like yours. Eric, go ahead.
Thank you, Peter, for getting us off to a great start. My name is Eric Bochnak, and I too would like to thank everyone for your attendance at our virtual gala today. It has been such an amazing and eye-opening opportunity to work with my classmates and Dr. Murphy in assisting Anne and bringing more awareness to the RISE organization as part of our service learning. I've had the pleasure of working on interviews for the gala with my classmates Sam, Zunera, and Will. We knew from the beginning that the best way to bring awareness to RISE and refugees all around the world was to allow you all, the audience, the opportunity to hear from some current and former refugees, to give you all a proper perspective of what exactly being a refugee means. One of the biggest things that stuck out for me when our team was conducting interviews was a phrase that was said by practically every interviewee. I quote, "I did not choose to be a refugee." Today, you'll hear some fascinating and heartbreaking stories from our interviewees. And I want you all to keep that quote in mind throughout that time. No one chooses to be a refugee. I could even go as far as saying no one chooses any hardship which comes along in their life, but these things do happen. That is why we are all here today, to spread awareness and to help make a difference in the lives of refugees. The RISE organization has partnered with Windell International and Eastlands College of Technology to provide vocational education to refugees in Kenya. Today, you will see interviews with a few students participating in this program, as well as interviews with two former refugees, Chantal Zuzi and Elijah Bull, who have both had the opportunity to come live life in the United States through overcoming their hardships, perseverance, and because of people like you and I, whose donations and awareness helps in making this all possible. Nowadays, Chantal is a high school student residing in Massachusetts, and Elijah is an accountant in Kentucky. Both of them are on the RISE board members, who are also looking to make changes in the lives of refugees. I ask all those in attendance to reflect on this gala after its completion and think about what you can do in your life to help make a difference as well. Whether that be a donation, spreading the word of RISE further along, or even joining an organization such as RISE yourself. Again, I thank you all for attending, and I will now pass the metaphorical mic to my classmate Lindsay so we can get this show underway. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. When beginning to plan this night, one of the first ideas and wants that our class had was to somehow include Father James Martin in our event tonight. Father Martin demonstrates great love and care for refugees, which is evident by his time spent with the Jesuit Refugee Service Mikono Center in Nairobi, Kenya, that he helped to found in 1993. It was my great honor and pleasure to work with Father James Martin this semester in efforts to have a brief welcome by him to begin our night. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Father Jim Martin. Just wanted to say congratulations on all the great work that RISE does for refugees. I myself worked with refugees for 2 years in the 1990s with the Jesuit Refugee Service in Nairobi, Kenya, and just loved it. And I think that refugees taught me a lot about persistence, about endurance, about resilience, really, and about faith as well. Many of the refugees were more faithful than I was and more faith-filled than I was. And so it's a privilege to be able to help them, to remember that they are among the most marginalized people in the world, that they really need our help. And mainly, we help them because Jesus asks us to help them, you know. In the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 25, he talks about what happens when we welcome the stranger. When we welcome the stranger, we're welcoming Jesus. There can be nothing clearer in the Gospels than that. So thanks for your great work. Keep it up, and you're in my prayers.
Wow. Thank you, Father Martin. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and to this amazing group of Loyola students led by my good friend, Dr. Mike Murphy. It's such an honor to have been selected for all of your support and your energy and all of the hard work that you guys have been doing to put on this event tonight. My name is Anne Strandoo, and I founded Refugees in Schools Everywhere, also known as RISE, after almost 25 years of working with refugees, both here in the US and overseas in countries like Kenya and Tanzania and Djibouti and Nepal and Jordan. And I founded RISE because there is a huge need for educational opportunities for refugees and for training and for support. And so before I tell you a little bit more about the mission of RISE, I'd like to share how this connection to Loyola came about. I spent my undergraduate years at the University of San Francisco, which is where I met my good friend, Mike Murphy, Dr. Murphy to you. He was Murph to us, and Murph and I spent many nights with our amazing circle of friends, many of whom are joined us here today, talking about, late into the night, about changing the world and who we wanted to be and how we wanted to be a part of that. And it's very cool how our worlds have come together again and how we're working together for refugees. And it's made me reflect a lot on this amazing Jesuit education that I had that teaches us not just about service to others, but service in solidarity with others and with love and with friendship and standing shoulder to shoulder with people. And that's shaped my work all of these years with refugees, and it's shaping RISE, and it's how we work with refugees. And so another cool parallel is that this wonderful class, this group of people, Dr. Murphy is helping shape your leadership skills. You guys have put on this event, and whether you're leaders whether it's your family or it's your neighborhood or your city, your county, your country, you're becoming leaders as well. And that's our mission at RISE, is we don't just want to educate people, we want them to be leaders and to take these things that they're learning back to their communities and change their communities, whether it's a refugee camp or it's the country that they return home to rebuild. And I've just so enjoyed getting to know all of you, and it's so, refugee work to me is so hopeful. As Father Martin said so beautifully, refugees are so resilient. They've been through the worst things, but they never give up. And I'm just so honored that you guys have put this together. I'm so excited to hear from our students. And as Eric said, refugees don't choose this life. They're not migrants seeking a better job across the border. They are people who have fled their countries and who cannot return, and they face persecution because of their beliefs or who they are, or the groups that they belong to, or their religion, or their race, or who they love. And you guys are just, you're doing such an amazing thing, not just for refugees, but for us at RISE as well. And your support is so appreciated. And you know, one of the things that struck me about this day that we're having this event, today is Earth Day. And there is one of the worst environmental disasters in the world is in northern Syria right now, where oil fields have poisoned Syria and poisoned the communities that once lived there and still live there. And if we are to solve these huge problems in the world, we have got to be able to support and educate people who can return to their countries and rebuild these places that are poisoned and decimated by war. And that's what we're doing here. And so I'm just so very grateful for all of you. And so now for the good stuff, let's hear from our RISE students, our very first group of students. We just formed this year. This is our very first cohort. We are fundraising. This work is not cheap, but what we're doing is we are investing in people's education, but also our students are living in Nairobi. And so we're providing their housing and their food and their electricity and safe shelter and water. And it's going to be so wonderful to hear their stories. And then hopefully you will join us and subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on social media, in addition to supporting our work financially. And our next cohort will be all female. We started with an all male group because that was what the college had available. And we've got some great courses that we're working on in vocational training. And there will also be some high school and college students as well. So stay tuned, follow us along. And you guys, I'm so grateful. Sam Flores, I know when you signed up for a class called All Things Ignatian, you probably didn't know that you would spend hours video editing an event, but we're really grateful for what you've done, Sam, and can't wait to see it. So Sam.
Yes, thank you so much. And I did not plan on it, but I have greatly enjoyed every step along the way. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Flores. I'm here to introduce the first set of interviews that we conducted for this evening. It was an absolute honor to sit in and listen to the interviews with the 7 Wendell students a week ago, and then spend the last few days making these videos. And after editing over an hour and a half's worth of video into one 11-minute testimony, one thing that I heard throughout every interview with all 7 of these men was the Ignatian theme of being people for others. These men are committed to not only bettering their lives, but they want to go back to their refugee camp and they want to start a business and employ and train and teach their brothers and sisters so that they can have the opportunity to better their lives as well. And it just gives me goosebumps thinking of how these men will change the lives of those in their communities back home. They're truly inspirational and grateful men with all amazing stories, and I can't wait to share that with you all now.
Sam, you may have to go back and click on those boxes in the share. You got me? Yeah. Good man.
Hold on, Dr. Murphy. I'm having a little trouble right now. Could you not hear it?
Yeah, we couldn't hear it. So I think you can do one of two things. The easier thing is probably to just unplug your headphones.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
okay.
it should tap right in.
Thanks, Megan.
Okay, my name is Ochan Walter Nelson. I'm a Ugandan by nationality. Yeah, I'm a second born in a family of 8 children, 5 boys and 3 girls. Yeah, I completed my Form 4 in the year 2013. Because my grade wasn't that good, I was not able to continue with my education. Because the scholarship given in the camp there, there's a target. There is not given to everyone. So for you to get a scholarship, there's this grade that you have to get. So I was stranded. I got carried away because my grade will not allow me to pursue the higher education. So I got into drugs, drinking, stuff like that. I didn't even want to work. Okay, there are some works you can get in the camp there if you finish your Form 4. But there are, I also want to mention, this is just a privilege. It's a lifetime opportunity given to us, because you can imagine 300 plus applied for this scholarship, but only the 7 of us were given the scholarship. Yeah, so we want to take this opportunity and utilize it to ensure that we become something. So it has really helped me. Right now, I'm a very gentleman. I've stopped drinking. I'm focusing on my future now. I was just empty. I didn't have any skill, but right now I've acquired some skill. Welding and fabrication, and also plumbing. So right now I can install water meter. I can do that. I can also wire a house. If you need water in your house, I can do that comfortably. And my request is that, because you can see we are all men, yeah? But when we applied, there are also some girls. There are some girls who applied, but because these particular schools, they only take men. They only take boys, yeah. So my prayer is that our sisters also to be given this opportunity, so that they also have skills. Because like right now, I have a plan. After the completion of this course, I intend to start up my own workshop, whereby I can also employ other people, because not everybody will get this opportunity. You can see, like I mentioned earlier, that many applied, but only fewer were picked. So we intend to use the skills we have acquired to also train other people with the basic, at least, so that they can have something to do. But with a skill like this, it gives you a direction. It gives you direction. Like right now, I know my children will not suffer in future, because I will provide for them. With the skill I have, I'm able to provide for them.
This is Ezekiel Abdallah. Yes, I'm from Sudan. I came to Kenya here in 2012 when there was a war broke out in Sudan. I thank God so much, because He has rescued me. I've seen blood oozing. I've seen people dying, and then by the grace of God, back home there, we were not that learning seriously. But when I came here, I found what we call education. So I learned free education in the camp since 2012. I joined primary upper classes. When I finished, I joined also secondary. One of the best things is that the secondary school again was handled by this organization, Window International. They offer best education, the quality, the teachers teach well, and they provide many resources. When I found that there was advertisement for the vocational training, I told myself, the first thing I did, I checked whether they are looking the criteria, the grade. So I found there was nothing. They were just saying whoever who is qualified, but they have not indicated. So I applied. Good enough, I got this opportunity. I tell God thanks because of this opportunity that I've been waiting for, and I've done it. I feel like I'm at home because there is a mentorship program, and the school itself offers the workshop practical thing. I have seen the real thing. I am taught something that I've never thought I can do with myself one time in my life. Like doing surface wiring, like the room, you can see the light. I can do these things now. I can do these things. And there are so many things I've been taught. And I did it with my hands, practically in the school. And I felt like I have to help people here. This is what I wanted to do. After finishing here, I'm going to start up a business to help people maybe sort out, find out the faults in the devices like phones, like other cooking devices. And then I've also had a dream that if I get some little amount of money that will enable me, not me alone, we can, with my group here who are with me, we will have to begin, we'll have to set up a project, and then we contribute something. Then we set up a program where we can have something that runs the source of power in the camp. My life is transformed, and I believe after finishing this, my life will never be the same. And I just pray that they should continue with the program. How I wish God will open doors for them so that they get more funds. So I pray that still God open them doors so that they get more funds. These my fellows who are left, they should get opportunity.
I'm doing automotive engineering. I was born in the camp in the Kakuma, and I've been studying in the camp. I was a teacher for 4 years in a girls' school called Baranam. I've been studying there for 4 years. I've been applying for the scholarship to continue with my higher education, but I didn't get the opportunity. But after I applied for this vocational training, which was my area of interest to do automotive, finally I was granted. That was God works, and I also appreciate the people who gave this opportunity to me. And after the completion of this course, automotive, I wish to at least, as a group, we wrote a project proposal, and we will take it to UNHCR. And maybe UNHCR can fund us on so that we can run our own workshops back there in the camp. And that also we can also help the other refugees who are there in the camp. It can be a source of employment and also a way of giving back to the society.
I'm Steven Sabit, South Sudanese, and a refugee from Kakuma refugee. I sat for my KCSE in the year 2018 and attained a mean grade of C-. And from there, since I did not have any other option for proceeding on, I volunteered with IRC International Rescue Committee. I was working as a community health promoter. In the same time, I was also working with the Kakuma Youth Parliament. So since I did not have any other activity, so both of them were part-time. After I had completed this, I was shifting to the other one. So until this opportunity came, I would describe it as God-given, because basically it covers 2 areas, because it has really targeted my dream course, that is electrical engineering. And secondly, it only came when I really needed it. So I want to say thank you to Windle International, who has been with me throughout, because it's not the first time. They've been with me since the start of my high school. So I'm also glad that they're still the one who are also responsible for my tertiary education. I want to say thank you, that may God bless them, and also Rice, who came through Windle, because actually without Windle, I wouldn't have known who Rice is. So all thanks is to Windle International. And I think I want to say, because this one is going to help me and also help others, because actually setting up a workshop that is going to help many youths and also make me earn a living too. That would be killing 2 birds with a stone, because actually I'll be helping myself and also helping others.
Those were some of the wonderful first round of interviews given by RISE's partner organization, Windle, and their students attending Eastlands College in Nairobi. We want to give a big thank you to Ochan Nelson, Ezekiel Abdullah, Atem Garang, Stephen Sebit, and all the other students we were unable to include in the videos for being so willing to share their stories with us. It was a pleasure to speak with each student and to get to know their strength. Also, these interviews would not have been possible without the coordination of Anne Strandoo, Carol Mukami, and our dedicated interview team. Next up, we have Sebastian Agignoae with performances and interviews from the International Orchestra of Refugees.
Thank you, Zanera.
Thanks, Zanera. Hi, everybody. My name's Sebastian, and I'm part of tonight's entertainment. I'm the founder of the International Orchestra of Refugees, a graduate student at Harvard University. Although I'm on the East Coast, my doctor says I still bleed maroon and gold. That's right. I'm a rambler. I graduated Loyola University of Chicago in 2016, and I'm thrilled to be back. 5 years after graduation, I still choose to devote my livelihood AMDG style for the greater glory of God. For the students in the room, don't stop after your time at Loyola. So here's a story we're all familiar with. 80 million forcibly displaced persons trapped on a journey with no end in sight. For many, skill sets untapped, dignity deprived, and cultures threatened. Thousands of communities willing but struggling to integrate refugees, preserve their identity, and open new doors. So the question we like to pose here is there a way to save and restore cultures at risk of being lost? With this in mind, we knew that music is critical to the human experience, and with musician being the keeper of the flame. After completing my degree in biochemistry at Loyola, I learned that my dad was once a refugee musician. Discovering his refugee papers and understanding from him what his journey was like compelled me to start the International Orchestra of Refugees, a nonprofit corporation founded in 2018, whose mission is to connect talented refugee musicians with meaningful opportunities to preserve their cultural heritage, find economic prosperity, and boost social integration. We find refugee musicians locally and connect them globally, be it to other musicians, customers, and sponsors in the community. We not only search for talent, but find ways for it to grow, be valued, and preserved. In the following video, you'll hear 2 songs. The first being the refugee anthem composed by Aryan, a resettled Syrian refugee composer, who composed the anthem for the refugee athlete team that was debuted in the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In the second song, you'll see a flag being featured. This flag, designed by Yara Saeed, a Syrian refugee designer with the Refugee Nation, marked the participation of the first ever refugee team in the 2016 Olympic Games. Inspired by the life vests that many brothers and sisters had to wear in their search for a safer land to live. Without further ado, I'm proud to debut a performance dedicated to Rise, featuring an ensemble of refugee musicians right outside Boston, Massachusetts.
So this song is dedicated to Rise, refugee in school everywhere.
Délivrez-nous de cette misère où t'en supplions. Hommage à toutes nos familles affligées. Que Dieu vous bénisse.
International Orchestra of Refugees.
Nice, you guys.
Macam ni cuma.
Video mina isa aja.
Good job, you guys.
Awesome. I'd like to introduce, really briefly, I'd like to introduce the leader of the band, Patron, a former refugee resettled here in the United States. Just to introduce him really quickly. Patron, you wouldn't mind saying hi and tell everyone where you're from and just a really brief discussion on your story and refugee journey.
Thank you so much, and I'm very happy to see all of you guys here. Everything is an inspiration from the beginning up to now, and I can't wait to follow the rest. My name is Patron Yemeri. I'm from Africa, refugee here. I live here in Massachusetts, Boston, and I'm from Tanzania and Congo. My father's from Congo, my mother is from Tanzania, and I'm also a refugee here. I came here 15 years ago, and right now I work at Loyola Public School, where I work as a bilingual family liaison, helping my sisters and brothers, refugees who comes in the country and they have a lack of language. So, and also we have a training center here in Lowell to help and equip those young talents, young brothers coming from Africa, and they feel so shy to be integrated in the society. So with music, it gives us that opportunity. And I salute everyone, and I've heard some good testimony. So I'm very happy for my friend and my brother, Sebastian, who came to us and who is really encouraging us. And he's such a blessing to us. Thank you so much.
Thanks. You're the blessing to me, Patron. And Patron, I found that it was really appropriate to invite him to speak, considering his role within the education space now, being a kind of really relevant to the mission of RISE. So Patron, thanks for all your support, and I'm really excited to continue working with you in the future. All right, I'll pass it on now. Thanks, everyone.
Mike, real quick. I just want to say, Patron, thanks so much for your time and for your gift, the gift of music. Sebastian, thank you, my friend. Blessings to you both.
Thank you, Mike.
Awesome. That performance was amazing. And I'd like to once again thank Patron and Sebastian and all of the members of the International Orchestra of Refugees for joining us today. It's truly inspiring to see you all get so much joy from doing what you love. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that this performance tonight brought us all immense joy. We appreciate you sharing your talent with us today. Coming up next, we have another short video presenting testimony from two former refugees, Chantal Zuzi and Elijah Bull. They are working directly with RISE to help them achieve their goal of putting refugees in schools everywhere. In this video, you will hear them talk about their experience as a refugee, how they met Anne, and a little bit about the work they do with RISE. Having the chance to speak with these individuals and listen to their stories was truly an amazing experience for me, and I am so excited to have an opportunity to share their words with you. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Chantal Zuzi, and I am originally from the Republic Democratic of Congo. Currently living in Holden, Massachusetts, and a senior in high school. I am very excited to tell you my story today. Well, I came from a strange world where my mother gave birth to me. In my community, albinos were viewed as outcasts, someone who should not live, and those bodies good only for sacrifice purposes. The only reason I survived was because my mother believed that I had the right to live. Growing up was a challenge with no accommodation for students with limited vision. As I was born with albinism, my vision was compromised. I remember telling my mother that I did not see the purpose of going to school because I was not able to see, but guess what? She reminded me how lucky I was because she did not have such an opportunity because she was married at the age of 14. With my mom's love and words in my heart, I decided to build a determination to work hard. Well, sadly, at 13 years old, I lost both my parents in a massacre. This painful event changed my life. I had to become a mother for my siblings. Because of the insecurity of people with albinism in the Congo, my siblings and I were forced to run away from our country to a refugee camp in Uganda. Well, if I did not mention before, I have 9 more siblings, so we are a total of 10 children. So we all ran away to a refugee camp in Uganda. Life in the camp was not easy. It was difficult to get water to drink or wash with, food to eat, I'll try to find a better place to sleep, and always wondering if I will be safe. And not getting any education was a sorrow for me, because I do believe that education was the key to success. But I did not have that opportunity to go to school while I was in a refugee camp. I lived in that refugee camp for another 3 years, and with just no education and with struggle, I decided to, I became the president of People with Albinism in the refugee camp, as we had 64 more people with albinism. So I represented them to the UN and the government. The government, it was a bit of difficulties with the government getting the refugee status. So I advocated for all of us to the Human Rights Commission. Well, the government were not happy with my action and threatened me to protect my family. I had to leave them in Uganda. So arriving in Kenya, I was again put in another shelter, which they are known as refugee, where I lived for another two years in their protection, safe house. And then after those 2 years living in Kenya, I got the opportunity to learn English. And then after 2 years, the UN, I was able to be resettled by the UN to the United States.
I'm originally from South Sudan. My name is Elijah Bol. I'm a former refugee, but a current US citizen who has voted in the last 3 elections, I would say so. I lived for almost 10 years as a refugee in northern Kenya, not by choice, but due to the civil war which was going on in my country, Sudan. I left my village in South Sudan in August of 1991 and walked down south to a refugee camp in northern Kenya. I came to Kakuma refugee camp on February 16, 1997, and lived there until 2006 when I left for resettlement to the US. Living in a refugee camp in northern Kenya was like living in a hell. Life was very difficult. Life in Kakuma refugee camp has always been full of problems, but it has shaped me to be who I am today. The area is full of desert storm, high temperatures, sometimes outbreaks of malaria, cholera, and other hardships. And if you come to northern Kenya, it's kind of desert, it doesn't rain, so it's dusty because there are not a lot of trees. As you know, the desert doesn't always have trees. So I lived there for 10 years. Kakuma is very remote. There is no access to good school. There's no access to hospital, and all the other necessities that you need in life. The kind of food we normally receive from UNHCR is surgeon, yellow peas, and oil. This is what we consume day in and day out for 30 days until you receive the next ration. So for 30 days, they give you like this certain amount. That's what you consume. So you budget that out. So you only eat one time a day. And that's it. And until next day, you eat only one time a day. So for 30 days, if you didn't budget your ratio out properly, you're probably going to run out in 20 days, and you don't have anything to eat for the next 10 days before the next ratio. So you have to budget it out. Luckily, in 2005, we had I would say that we were lucky to get the resettlement to come to the US.
Yes, I met Anne when I was in Nairobi, Kenya, in a safe house shelter run by refugee. So she came, she was working with the US Embassy. So she came to visit the shelter, and she was the one who had my case to the US Embassy. And once she came, and I was like really, really excited to ask them about where is my case and when will I be traveling. So she was the person I should have had that conversation with, and she was like, she just told me, check your status, and I just checked my case status, and it was just, my security was cleared, and I was just so excited. And she was like, don't be excited until you get to the US. So that's where our friendship started. Then I just met her that day, and then when I got resettled, she reached out to me, and she was like, wow, I really, I'm so happy that you are here, and I have this, I started this organization, and this is RISE, and we are supporting refugees, young refugees to attend school and vocational, skills. And I was like, wow, I was just really excited to join and be a part of it.
So Anne was working with the agency that do orientation if you are given resettlement and allowed to come to the US, and then they send people over there to talk to you guys about, how life in the US is like. So in last year, and we reconnected. One of my friends told me about the old photo that Anne took during the orientation. So, and then I went to on Facebook and Google her name, and then find her, and then send her email. So that's how we reconnected. And then a few months later, she told me about, her ambition of trying to create, an organization that can help kids, like unprivileged kids living in the refugee camp. I told her that's, a good idea.
Once I arrived here, that's when I got involved with this organization, RISE. It's really a wonderful organization. My friends and just talked to me about it, and I was very, very excited. She told me the mission of RISE and how we really, really want to give an education to young refugee in different refugee camps in East Africa. And I was very excited because I myself have been through the same situation and live in a refugee camp with no education. And I myself believe that education is the key to success. So with that, I was really, really excited to join the RISE board. And joining the RISE board is just like life-changing for me. I feel like I am having an impact in other people's lives. Our first students just started their technical school, and it's just really amazing to see how much RISE have touched their lives. And I hope that RISE will continue to touch more and more lives with the right support.
Let's say 5 students this year, 10 students next year. Imagine after 20 years, we probably made 20 or 50 students, to be a better leaders of tomorrow. Imagine 20 students if they're 5 from South Sudan, 5 from Somalia, 5 from other countries. If they go back and become leaders, what would you think they could do after another 20 years? They could make a better country. So this is what we're trying to do, trying to make a better leaders for tomorrow. Because if we teach them, give them that kind of knowledge they would need to change their life, to change their country, to do whatever that can make this world a better place, this is what we need to do. And for you guys to partner with RISE, I think we will make an impact in whatever we will do together. Okay, what I could say to Loyola student, you know, in this war, we always dream about what could I do, you know, to change somebody's lives. What could I do to make this world a better place? You know, what could I do to make sure that, you know, the world live in a peaceable, or the world live stable with no conflict, with nothing. What you guys are doing, you guys will realize in the future that what you guys are doing is very important, not only to RISE, but to the kids that will one day mention Loyola did something, you know, to making sure that they have a better education. I'm very happy for you guys, you know, to do this for this organization. One day you will feel proud that we are happy we made this choice to partner with RISE, to making sure that we, you know, we help these kids that are in their needs of education. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, interview team. So the next part of our evening is time for prayer, as it is important for many of us in this class and those here today to think about this prayerfully. So now we will hear from Jesuits Phil and Andrew as they lead us in an examen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lizzie, for that intro. My name is Phil Nalick. I'm a Jesuit currently in formation here at Loyola, and I'm also an alumnus of Loyola and the Catholic Studies program. One thing that's sticking with me from this evening so far is the value of connection and friendship and relationship. The connections that we've been able to form already, but also that's been a theme brought up between the refugee stories and the relationships that built these networks that we're now contributing to.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Molesky. I'm also a Jesuit in formation. I'm very grateful to be here, to have been invited, to hear the stories that are sticking with me. I'm very grateful to learn about RISE, and I'm definitely going to be registering for the newsletter as well. A little bit of background about me was I have a connection to the Syrian Catholic Church, and my own family has a Syrian background. And over the last 10 years, I've seen how the Syrian war has changed on my own Catholic community. And so it was very consoling and also challenging to hear some of the stories this evening. So as we move into our examen, I would like to remind you that the examen is a type of prayer that's a key part of Jesuit spirituality. In this prayer, we see how God has been present and working throughout our day. But in this examen, we're going to focus more specifically on how God has been moving and speaking to us throughout this RISE Gala.
As we begin, I invite you to sit in a comfortable position as we become aware of the presence of God. Within our space, in this community gathered digitally, and within ourselves, we notice our connection to the earth beneath us, and we breathe in that presence of God that animates our life.
We acknowledge God's love and the various gifts from the Gala. As we move into the next part of our examen, we call to mind one thing we heard that we're grateful for. It could have been a story. It could have been something that reminded you of an experience you've had. Whatever that is, sit with that grateful element for a moment.
Next, we ask for light from the Spirit as we review this event from start to finish. So I invite you to think back. How did you first hear about this evening? What initially drew you to it? For you students, what initially drew you to put on this event? How did you enter into the Zoom room today? How were you feeling at the beginning? And what did you notice throughout the event? In the videos, in the music, in the stories? Allow these moments to come back to you. Review them in the space of gratitude.
As we move to the next part of the examen, continue to be mindful of how God was moving throughout this time. We take a moment to pause and notice any resistances. Maybe there was something that unsettled us. Maybe there was something that caused apathy or boredom. Without judging, we notice this. We bring it to God.
Then looking forward, we move toward action. Where did you feel moved toward action this evening? How might you put that movement into practice? Is there something that you want to learn more about? A way that you might want to volunteer? Or a way that you can donate to support RISE? How might you encounter and build relationships with other refugee communities in your local area?
Now, as we conclude this examen and continue on with the program, I invite you to pray the Our Father with Philip and I. Our Father,
Who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Phil and Andrew, for that wonderful examen. My name's Kayla Brown, and I'd like to thank all of you for spending your afternoon with us. When our class first started this work with RISE, one of our biggest goals was to give it an afterlife, which is why we've created 2 documents with some great resources to deepen our understanding of the experiences and needs of refugees worldwide. One of these documents is a book club designed to create discussion and community around these important issues, as well as add some great books to your reading list. And speaking of great books, our friend Chantal, who we just heard from, is in the process of writing one of her own, and we will be so excited to share its release information with you as soon as it becomes available. In the meantime, though, please do head over to RISE's website and check out the book club. It will be posted and available in the coming days, but right now I would love to share a little preview of it with you all. Each book has its own set of discussion questions that can be used individually to guide your own reading or to inspire larger group discussions. We hope that this will be a living document that will serve as a point of connection in Loyola's work with RISE between our class and future classes who we hope will keep it alive by adding new books and continuing the Jesuit spirit of education and solidarity. Now I'd like to hand things over to my classmate Maddie, who will talk more about the great resources we'll be sharing with you.
Thank you. I couldn't unmute myself, sorry. Thank you, Kayla. As you just said, we really wanted to put together some resources that can hopefully benefit RISE after this event and after the semester is over. In addition to a collection of books and discussion questions, we also put together a document of resources, including some articles from scholarly journals on human rights and international policy, websites to view some artwork by refugees, Jesuit refugee services, and some places to learn about the crises that refugees face, and to donate to relief efforts, education, and resettlement. We admire and appreciate all the work RISE is doing to support refugee students in their educational goals. We hope these resources will continue to grow and be shared to be beneficial to this wonderful organization in the future. Thanks so much.
So this is the end of our program. We want to thank everyone for joining us tonight and participating in this gala. This gala is something our CASA 296 class has been working all semester towards. It's something we are very passionate about. We are proud to have come together to make this such a successful event.
I would also be speaking with Mona. We'd first like to thank Father James Martin and all the refugees who volunteered to speak here today. We'd also like to thank our Jesuit friends who led the examen for us, as well as the International Orchestra of Refugees, Sebastian Agignoae, and Patron Umeri for leading them today. Your efforts and time spent on this event did not go unnoticed, and we are incredibly grateful for your support.
We also want to thank Anne Strandoo and RISE student worker Chantal Azouzi for speaking to us earlier in the semester and inspiring us to create this important event. Your passion and your dedication for helping others has aroused us all in the Ignatian spirit to go forth and set the world on fire.
Finally, we all want to thank you for joining us today. This event would not have been made possible without everyone who spread the word, who registered, who donated, and who attended. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming out and supporting us today. Thank you and have a great night.
Well done, everybody. Thank you, Megan. Well done, one and all. And we'll follow up. I'll talk to you soon. Everybody, congratulations. A job well done. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for everybody for coming. Sebastian and Patron, you're still on. Thanks, Philip and Andrew. Great job, team. Take care, everybody.
Thank you all so much. You guys are amazing. Everybody here. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.